Hi everybody, it's Linda from Joyful Makes and Finds. I am back with two Valentine journals, and they were definitely a labor of love. They are similar but a little different. I used some vintage things and things that I didn't necessarily have two of, so the ephemera in them will be a little bit different, but let's take a look one at a time. And these are similar to my little cutie style, except they're more of a big cutie. So they are made from a paper bag base, but the paper bag is bigger. So these are more like 8 to 9 inches tall by 5 to 6 inches wide. So they're really the size of a full-size journal. And I covered them with this vintagey Valentine fabric that I've had in my stash, and I used this little crocheted heart that I got in an Etsy shop and a little felt heart that I cut out as a topper. I beaded the signature ties, and I created a really pretty dangle with some beads and jewelry pieces from my stash. I used a Tim Holtz hitch post and a hair tie closure. Okay, so this is journal number 1. And let's take a look inside. Each journal has about 30 something pages, like 32 or 34, so that would be double number of sides, so 60, 64, 60 something sides. I used lace fabric for a little front pocket here, and I used this old angel postcard and backed it to make a journal card to put in this front pocket. This is a Valentine digital. And then in this front pocket here, I used, you might recognize this from my journals from last month, or earlier this month, the Liberty of London journals. I used this happy playing card for part of the topper, and I thought it went great for Valentine's Day as well, so I used it here as a tuck. And then this is just a little something from me. Every year I make this Valentine's Day snack mix. I don't always make it the same way twice. I don't cook it or melt any chocolate or anything in it. It's just literally one of those snack mixes that you just dump stuff in a bowl and mix it up and eat it happily. I usually will divide it up into a whole lot of little Ziploc bags and give them to friends that I see or neighbors, my grandkids. And so I hand wrote this for you. It's just a little Valentine from me to you. So it's my Valentine's Day snack mix. Okay, some coffee dyed paper. This is a page from an old, is it Gooseberry Patch, I think? Little book that I had, and it's for the month of February. And here is just a business envelope. And I covered the back side with some old gift wrap. And inside is a copy of a vintage postcard that I made into a journal card. It's got this little boy, really cute, and his little dog, and he looks like he's writing a little Valentine note. Okay, and then this is, this base is a page from a Vintage Ideals magazine from Valentine's Day. So it's got like a Valentine bouquet here. I created this tuck spot with a little cluster, and this is an original love stamp. And then I just made a little embossed card to go in there. I thought that was really pretty. And you can use it as the base for a greeting card, you know, as a topper for a greeting card and embellish it. You can put some coffee dyed paper on the back and use it as a journal card, or just enjoy it. So the back side here, you can see this is like a flip out envelope, and on this side I made a little journal tag tucked into this little doily belly band, and then it flips out, and on this side is just a journal card. And this is torn on purpose. I gave it kind of a torn edge, distressed kind of look. So as you can see, this is a digital also, and I will credit all of the digitals in the description box. I've had this digital for several years. Okay, and then this is the back side of that Ideals magazine. It's got little quotes about love and such. Then this is a little tuck, and I made this little fold-out journal card from one of those jumbo index cards, and I put a little copy of a vintage Valentine on the front. You could even use this as a little greeting card, or just do a lot of journaling. Let's make sure I'm back in the center here. This is a page from a 1970 yearbook. And when I use yearbooks, I try to cover up a lot of times they'll have the names and such on there. So I covered that up with some fabric and a little decoration there. But Valentines always remind me of the classroom. It reminds me of school. So I thought the old yearbook page would be fun in a Valentine journal. And then this is just a Valentine's Day greeting card. And then I made this vintage button card with some of my vintage buttons and sewed them on there. And this is just a blank, oh no, this was a Sizzix die, this vintage buttons card here. And you can use that however you'd like. I just thought it was fun. And then here's a paper bag. This is these are the paper bags that I use as the base for my little cuties when I make the journal. So you can see how much larger this journal is than one of my standard little cuties, which would be this size. So inside of this paper bag is my customary tea bag that I always like to send along with my journals. This is rose tea, and it really is delicious. I do make sure that I'm more of a coffee drinker, but I do make sure that I taste all of the teas that I send with my journals to make sure that I'm not sending something that tastes kind of yucky. And I actually, some of them I do like to drink, especially in the summertime. I'll make them cold. All right, just a little notebook paper there. This is a digital. Am I back in the center? Yeah. And some writing papers, lots of room to write. This is some banana fiber paper. And then this is the center of the signature. And this is a vintage candy wrap. It's foil. So if you could envision this as the wrap that they used to wrap like the boxes of, heart-shaped boxes of chocolate in, or whatever. So that's what this is. And then just a heart-shaped doily. And I put some really pretty beads, really pretty beads on the signature ties. I made this beaded dangle with this crystal and this little bronze heart. And then this is a heart-shaped art bead. So I tried to pull out all of my pretty Valentine-y things. And then this is the back side of that notebook page, and I just put some fun yarn through the holes. This is the back side of the paper bag, and I've got this little heart-shaped paper clip there. And inside of this paper bag is just a little matchbook notepad that I made. This is a vintage love stamp. Whoops, sorry. Little crash there at my foot. And this pulls out, and then there's a fun little flippy notepad with some different coffee dyed papers, and this little something you can put in your purse, a little something you can pass on to a buddy, or just keep it in here and document something. write your favorite little quotes on there. Okay. And then I'll just take a second here to awkwardly fumble with my paper clip, as I often do. There we go, not too bad. Okay. And then this is another fun flip out envelope. This is on the back side of that greeting card. And on this side, I created 2 pockets. And as I like to do, I put some blank tags in here, 3 different sizes in these pockets, so that you have things to decorate, to play with, to make your own. If you wanted to use this as like a junk journal February, or an art journal, or just for your daily journaling, you could certainly use those tags. And then on the back side of the envelope just created this little tuck, and I put another copy of a vintage postcard, journal card. This is the other side of the vintage yearbook. And this is the other kind of matching heart pocket, and I made this little guest check from another little vintage Valentine. I just stenciled the back and added a little trim. This is the Ideals magazine. This is the back side of that business envelope, and I just created a little closure there. And inside, inside is just a piece of vintage Mary Engelbreit stationery for writing. And then this just tucks right in there. This is the gooseberry patch. And then the very last page is this belly band. And this is some very old vintage lace, by the way. I used it in a few places in the journal. And I created this belly band and then this copy of a vintage postcard that I made into a journal card. Right here is a little bulb pin with a charm that says "Made with Love." And then this is the back, and it's got the same lace pocket. And then inside of this pocket is the little baggie full of goodies from me that I always like to include with my journals. And then just like in my little cuties, this is a very large pocket in the back because it is the opening of the paper bag. And then this is the back side. This closure can be changed if you find you need a longer one or a shorter one. This just comes right out. And then you could use ribbon and wrap it around. You could use whatever you wanted, but I thought this matched well. So this is journal number 1. So let's look at journal number 2. We can go through a little bit faster, but there are a few differences. Same dangles on the cover, basically the same cover. If you want me to show you one tiny little difference, I don't know if you can tell, but this felt heart was cut out with pinking shears, and this one has a smooth edge. That's really the only difference in the covers. Okay, and then in this front pocket is a journal card made from an old Valentine. And the digital, and I think I forgot to point out this really pretty heart lace trim that's on the edge of this paper. I don't know if you can see it against the lace tabletop, but this was white and I just coffee dyed it. And it's just so pretty. And then the very same recipe from me in the top. Let me make sure I am in a good spot here. So very similar pages. This is a little different. Of course, I used another page from a Vintage Ideals magazine, so the page itself is different because it's an original page. And then there's this pink embossed card, excuse me, in this one. And then it is also an envelope flip with the 3 blank tags with this is Sari Silk Toppers. And then inside of this pocket is a tag. This is a little different. A little handmade tag that I made with a pocket. This tag is made from a paint chip. And then I just used this digital, some of the pieces from this digital. Oh, wow, that fell out of there. I'll have to replace that. So anyway, there's this tag goes in this envelope. And this is the back side of the Ideals page. All right, and then this is the little fold-out double jumbo index card, journal card that I made for this one with the Vintage Valentine. This one has a little boy on the front. The other one had a little girl on the front. The same yearbook. This is another Valentine card in this one. And this is the button card that I made for this journal with the vintage buttons that I sewed on. And then the same little paper bag here that has the rose tea bag inside of it. The note card. Digital. This is the same center of the signature with the gold candy foil and the heart doily and the exact same dangles that I made in the other one on the signature ties. Here is the page, the back side with the yarn through the holes there. And this is the tea bag. I'm sorry, the other envelope held that little matchbook flip notebook that I showed you from journal number 1. Okay, and then this is another envelope flip here, and on this side, tucked into the flap, is a copy of a vintage postcard. And then on this side is an envelope, and I tucked 2 vintage Valentines in there in this little envelope pocket. And these envelopes I do have in my Etsy shop, Joyful Makes and Finds. And actually, these journals are now listed in my Etsy shop, Joyful Makes and Finds. And if you want a link that goes right to the listing for the journal, those listings are, the listing links are in the description box too. Okay, and then the guest check for this one with the little vintage Valentine. And then this is the back page, the back side of the Ideals page. And then this is the same little business envelope, but in this one I have a page from a vintage cookbook, and it's got a recipe for romance cookies and some other cookies and bars. The other journal 1 had this in this pocket, but in this journal I sewed that page into the signature because it had the colors of this Ideals page on it. So that's why there's a difference in what's in this pocket. Okay, and then the last page has that vintage lace belly band with the sweet little angel cherubs Valentine postcard journal card. And then in the back, very back pocket, is your package of goodies for further embellishing and finishing the journal. And then, of course, the opening back pocket is empty here. Has the same tie, comes around to the front. Of course, the bulb pin is removable if you wanted to put it somewhere else. So this is journal number 2 and journal number 1. So I think I mentioned in my last video that January in my shop is button month and that I had lots and lots and lots of vintage buttons to list. And I got so into the making of these journals, I did not get all of those buttons listed. So if you have been in my shop looking for all the new listings of the vintage buttons, I apologize, but they are coming. I'm going to take this next week and try to make sure I get all of those buttons listed while I still have the button sale going on this month. So there's that, and I will soon get started on my next project. So I thank you all for taking a few minutes to watch. If you're interested in these journals, you can follow the links over to my shop. And if you enjoyed watching this flip through, got a good idea for, some handmade Valentine project that you'd like to make or ideas for your journals, leave me a like, subscribe. I would love to see my channel grow this year. And I guess that's it for now. I appreciate every minute you spend with me, and I will see you soon with another project. Bye-bye.